Is cooked dog food actually better than raw, or is raw still the gold standard for canine nutrition? This debate actually causes way more confusion than it should. Because here's the truth, both raw and cooked dog food have serious benefits, and the choice isn't actually all black or white. Today, I'm going to break down the nutritional pros and cons of raw versus cooked, when one might be better than the other, what most people get wrong about both, and I'll wrap it up with the biggest myth. Now let's get into it. Before we start, my name is Sam, I'm a dog and cat nutritionist, and it's important for you to understand that I'm an independent one and I am not married to anyone. Now, what is the raw food argument? Raw feeding exploded in popularity because it makes sense. Dogs evolved eating raw prey, rabbits, rodents, birds, leftovers, whatever the case might be. So naturally, raw food aligns with their physiology. They're canines, they're short, acidic stomachs. They are very high in bioavailable protein, which actually supports lean muscle and energy. It's rich in natural enzymes, which can aid digestion. Raw food is absolutely king when it comes to oral health, especially when bones are included, as your dog is going to be filing those teeth with every single meal. And it's free from starches, fillers, and ultra processed kibble, which is, as you know, my favorite pet peeve. Now, many owners also report shinier coats, better poops, smaller, less smelly, and this is something that doesn't really get talked about enough. And when it comes to allergies and inflammation and overall health, a raw fed dog tends to be a lot healthier. It's whole, minimally processed foods. What could go wrong? But it's actually not perfect. Let's not romanticize raw. There are drawbacks, and they do matter, especially for beginners. The first one is bacterial contamination, and I know what you're going to say, but this is real. Salmonella, E. coli, listeria. Listen, most healthy dogs tolerate it, but it's a concern in homes with kids, the elderly, or immunocompromised people, or maybe people who cannot be chewed with raw meat in the house all day, every day. And that's actually a very legitimate concern. Now, it's important for you to understand that I only talk to responsible pet parents. So, if you cook things from scratch for you and your family, you will take precautions when you handle raw meat for yourself and raw vegetables. And I think that 99% of people would do the same for their dog. But besides that, raw feeding takes planning. You need freezer space, regular sourcing, and confidence with ingredients, like maybe bones, liver, and tripe if you are DIYing the whole thing. So, is cooked food the safer, smarter option? Well, in many cases, yes. Cooked food is exactly what it sounds like. It's real food, gently cooked, usually steamed, poached, or pan-seared, not ultra processed like kibble. And cooking does a few good things actually. First of all, it kills pathogens, making it safer, especially for dogs with compromised immune systems or household with hygiene concerns. Second, it can improve digestibility of some ingredients like starches and some fibrous vegetables. It releases aromas, and this is something that I don't see many people talk about. Dogs often find cooked food more palatable than raw meat. This is not all, but some dogs absolutely do. And guess what? You can still use the same whole food ingredients as raw meat, liver, veggies, eggs, sardines, etc., etc. Let's be clear, we're not talking about boiled chicken forever. We are talking balanced home cooked or lightly cooked fresh meals. And for some dogs, that's the ideal middle ground between raw and kibble. And by the way, if you are curious about how to DIY your own dog food and you have the appetite and the passion, you can grab a DIY recipe book. It's super simple and it'll actually save you money whenever you want to put ingredients together for your dog. I'll leave the guide below. Let's get back to the video. How does cooking actually change the nutrients? Well, here's the trade-off actually. Cooking destroys some enzymes. That's absolutely categorical. And certain heat-sensitive vitamins like folate, B1 and C, although dogs actually produce their own vitamin C, but it can enhance absorption of minerals like iron and calcium. Another thing that doesn't get talked about enough is that cooked fat is often easier to digest, especially for senior dogs or those with sensitive guts. And cooked food actually might be easier to portion, store and travel with. So yes, what you lose in rawness, as it were, you gain in convenience, safety and consistency. And if you're following a balanced recipe, either way, your dog is getting everything they need. But instead of getting bogged down by if one is better than the other, here is the bigger picture in my opinion. You are still miles ahead of kibble. Most kibble is low in fresh meat, is high in ultra processed carbohydrates, is full of synthetic additives. It's made under extreme heat and pressure, destroying natural nutrients, and it's often linked to weight gain and metabolic issues. Fresh food, raw or cooked, supports longevity, vitality and disease prevention. It's not about being perfect, it's about being better, and both are far, far better than brown biscuits in a bag. But hey, you can actually mix both, the hybrid approach. You don't actually have to pick a side. You can feed cooked in the morning, raw at night. You can do raw on a weekend, cooked on busy weekdays. You can have a raw base with cooked toppers, or vice versa. Or how about a cooked diet with raw meaty bones once a week for dental health? This is called rotational feeding, and it mimics what your dog would do if they were left to their own devices. They would have a broad church in terms of what they would eat. Variable, seasonal, and biodiverse. It actually keeps your dog interested and it broadens their nutrient exposure. So is cooked food better than raw? Well, not really, not worse either. It's just different, and both are so much better than kibble that I wouldn't stress too much over choosing one over the other. What matters more? That it's fresh, that it's whole food, that filler is kept to a minimum, and that it works for your dog, your lifestyle and your budget. If you want help building a balanced raw or cooked diet, check out my guide in the description. I'll walk you through everything, step by step, no fluff. If you found this interesting, you cannot miss my raw versus cooked video that I did. And it gives you a bit more information about this topic, which is actually fascinating and I think you're going to find super interesting. I'll put it here and I'll see you there.